Good morning and welcome to the Virtual Film Company Studio One on VR Chat. Today we're going to be talking about a number of exciting topics, including the freedom of speech and some of the cool stuff that has come out from CES. So let's start off with the topic of one of the things that most creators complain about on a continual basis when they use various tools like Grok, Runway, Sora, whatever, is that these tools are over moderated and sometimes it can be difficult to create what one wants to create. Grok, however, or the new release of Grok, however, took a totally different approach where it has gotten itself banned over the last couple of days for some of the things that it can do. So, any thoughts on this?
Well, I think that we should, the alien is in the UK. I think that he should chime in on his thoughts of what is manifesting since it is his prime minister that has been put on display.
Yes, that was a bit cheeky of Mr. Musk. He has no respect and he is taking no notice of some serious issues with Grok because people have been putting up images of celebrities, famous people, and asking Grok to undress them, which it dutifully obliges. These images are non-consensual. Also, there has been the Meta glasses, Ray-Ban.
Well, wait. Before you get into that topic, because I do want to talk about that, but I want to comment on why the celebrities are upset about being undressed. Is it because you feel like Grok is giving an accurate impersonation of what they look like undressed, or is it because it's inaccurate, the images being created?
It is because these people have not given their permission for it to happen. And before you photograph anybody, you should, by law and politeness, ask them for their permission to do so.
Right.
These people are not. They're also tricking people by wearing these Ray-Ban looking like sunglasses, AR glasses.
Right, but before you get to that, let's finish with this one, because that is, I feel like, the next layer of this. So this image is being created. It's like a deep fake, right? Because it's actually not the celebrity's body. So this Grok could be actually making them look way better than they actually look without clothes on. This could be a big compliment for them.
It's not a compliment. How would you like your image put up on all over the internet with no clothes on? Would you be pleased and complimented by it?
Sure, if it made me look good, big muscles and tight abs and the whole lot. Yeah, why not? Sure, right, big naughty parts, all of that, right?
It's men disrespecting women.
I am not.
It is classified as being a form of violence and against the rights of women.
So it's only men that are doing this, not women. Women aren't undressing men then.
Apparently not.
I don't know. I think that there's definitely got to be some women that have lined up and put some prompts in as well. Like they want to. Well, I mean, my thing, right? But just for the sake of debate, this image that they're putting on these people, this is an interpretation. It's like a piece of art that. Is it real or is it not real? Like yes, you are putting their head and face on something that is an interpretation. So, no, I mean,
That's not it. They're putting up real photos of real people that exist and using the shape of the body with the clothes on to undress.
But what is a real photo? I mean, a photo by itself isn't real.
A person that's real is someone who's got a birth certificate, was born via the womb of a woman, and not a made-up AI image.
So those children that are conceived by scientific means, you're saying they are not human now?
Oh, my goodness.
I would have thought that's a totally different test tube babies. Different subject.
So we now have another class
children,
of
people's
human.
children, like your child, perhaps, if you have a young child of 8 or 9. Yes, that could be used. If there's an image available, it could be downloaded and uploaded to Grok and used for this purpose of undressing.
Well, let's
children.
just clear the air here and say, there should be and is no tolerance for child pornography, but over the age of 18, I think it becomes a different story. But the interesting thing here that's happened is, and I think this happens with all products where, for example, when Midjourney started, gosh, 3 years ago, it seems like a long time ago. But anyway, and we were involved in training Midjourney, we often came across some nasty images, which, that was the point of training it, right? Was to tell Midjourney that these images were not acceptable. So, I was surprised. Let me finish on this, please.
Yes.
I was surprised,
of course,
with X having Grok. I've been on X for years now. In fact, if you want to see my art, that's where I post every day. But I was surprised to find out that I could actually create nudes using Grok a couple of days ago. And then when this, news story broke about being able to undress people, I tried to undress a image that I created in AI, and actually it wouldn't do it. And then I thought, well, perhaps this image is now too human looking, because that's what some of these models base whatever they're going to do on. If it's human, for example, bio won't touch it. So I created a cartoon, and yes, lo and behold, cartoon started removing her top. So I think, to finish off what I'm saying here, that, like all products, not like all, but like many products, are not fully tested, and they're put out there, and they rely on the public to stress test them and decency test them, I suppose, in this case. And, they've unfortunately found out that they should have checked better. I think there's room for, what's the word for it? Adult material to an extent, but, nothing to do with kids, animals, torture, anything like that. The human body, as we've seen for centuries, is a beautiful form that, appears in art, and it should be displayed with beauty, not with violence or anything else. So.
Yeah. I just went and seen the Da Vinci exhibit that they had, and his most famous image with the way the geometry is interpreted. So art, we are in a very controversial spot with art right now and interpretation. And yes, taking people's images, the likeness, maybe it might not be exactly them. I was just bringing that point up for contention, because that's what, when people are looking at these images, some people they don't look like this person at all. And we're in an age of filters as well, to where there's so many people that, prior to this stuff taking place, there's people that I see to where I'm like, this person does not look like this. They're taking like 20 years off their age and all the lines out of their face. And you're like, come on. This, I know that you're reliving your youth out of this, but the filters have completely altered, people are, and it's their choice with their art and how they're wanting to put themselves out there and express themselves. But we've put ourselves in an interesting space to where, like, you can present yourself in any way. But I think the difference is when somebody else is creating themselves to look this way and not somebody else doing it.
Well, I have come up with
the way when models pose for art reasons so they can be painted. I'm sure they give their permission to sit in a class full of people looking at them. It's the same thing. If these people do look like they really are, haven't had their lines taken out, or everyone knows who they are, they can see who they are just by looking. It's exact likeness.
That's
So,
interpretation, though, as well, because if we had 12 different artists and you put me as one of the artists and gave me a sketch and I had to draw the person, it's, I don't think, going to be that good of a, that to me would be, you could have 12 different paintings at the end of the day, and depending on the level of art, it's going to all be an interpretation of what they saw.
yeah, but we're not talking about paintings. We're not talking about art. We're talking about pornography.
Well, not
Unfortunately, it always
necessarily. I
goes.
think, that's where we seem to be stuck, and that's where a lot of people seem to get stuck, unfortunately, on pornography. I don't know whether it's because they secretly are enamored by it or turned on by it, and somehow that topic seems to be attractive. But I think the bigger issue here is freedom of speech, and what should one be allowed to create and what shouldn't one, and should there in fact be any rules at all, other than the obvious, like not creating images of anyone under 18 years old, not slandering or libeling people through images or audio or video, certain
Yeah.
rules like that. But here in the United States, we live in the land of the free, where one can pretty much say anything and get away with it.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I think that's.
I'll be rolling around in laughter for the next half an hour. That's a good one. Land of the free. You've got freedom. You're joking, aren't you? Can't say or do anything in America anymore without getting attacked by the National Guard, or what are these called? These immigration people.
Yeah, but let's
exterminators, immigration exterminators going around and shooting people for being in cars and trying to drive off.
Okay, but I think
in England, that's not freedom of speech. That's freedom of nothing. That's killing the citizens of the country.
right, but we are now taking this topic into a whole nother topic. I think that actually you should transition us into, before I interrupted you, these meta glasses, because I think that is an important point to where we're going with this, to where there's a lot of gray lines, but I think that this is a big topic here that does need to be respected. So not to just stay on
this
topic.
Doesn't only affect celebrities; it affects everybody. These meta glasses, you can turn off just like that easily the recording red light, which lets other people know you're recording them. So you can go up to someone, look like you're wearing sunglasses, and this has been happening, videoing them, asking for their phone numbers, saying they look very pretty, and they obviously refuse to give their phone numbers, and he apologises and walks on. But he has a video of them. So what you're saying to me about Grok is, if someone videoed your girlfriend or your wife in an innocent, or not an innocent, in a deceptive, fraudulent manner, and then uploaded them to Grok and then undressed them, put them in compromising positions with other men, that's totally fine, is it?
But how cool would it be to walk around with glasses on and see everybody naked, just like you?
Gosh.
So we'd see everybody in the world with no clothes on just by wearing glasses. That would be amazing.
Oh my gosh. I must say you are an example.
That is not the case.
No?
These people being videoed fully dressed. I mean, how would you like it if it happened to your mother? I mean, let's have your mother totally naked on the internet.
I personally wouldn't care, but I personally wouldn't be looking at my mother if she was still alive on the internet. I certainly don't have any fascination for, women that are beyond their prime.
It could be an old photo of her.
Right, but
it was taken 20 years ago.
Right, we are dealing with some highly sensitive times, because that situation right there, to somebody to do that and then manipulate it in a way and put it online, like, we are crossing some serious lines of what is copywritten, what is not, what is morally right and not right. Like, for me to hear somebody doing that to me is way crossing the line. And with this technology that's coming out, where does the line need to be drawn of what is right, what is wrong, what is permissive use, what is not. And I believe that that is totally, a major topic, that is what is right and where do we put this? Where do you guys think? And, we'll wrap this topic up.
No, definitely. I think we should be driven by what is correct. But, when we start talking about morally correct, the issue comes up of, whose morals do we follow? I think there need to be basic morals, but, can we even as humans all agree on what those are? I mean, it seems to be very difficult for us to behave like, adults should, like civilized adults should. When I look out there and see what people are doing and saying, I just shake my head and say, no, the time has come. It's, the world is in a bad place right now, and let's hope that the peace virus that this alien keeps talking about may have some effect one day, but I'm losing hope in that.
Yes, well, other people that have had complaints put towards them for creating AI that can do things that it's not supposed to have corrected the coding so that it does not. But Mr. Musk does not seem to give a shit.
Nope.
Well, again, this brings us back to the fact that I last night tried to remove clothes of a image that I'd created in another program. So, I wasn't taking a random image of a random person and doing this.
That wasn't a real person. You wasn't undressing a real person in front of you then.
Oh my gosh.
Right, but it actually seemed to now have guardrails in there where even if the person looked like a real person, as I was saying, so the first generation that I did was of a real looking person, if there is such a thing. These days, many people that we see out there are, semi-real in that they have a lot of fillers, and other things in their bodies rather than being real people. There are,
Right. There's total truth to that.
They're doing that to themselves, though.
Well, we're seeing that over time, right? Like if you're modifying yourself and not being real, like I feel like now we're living in a time to where, I think people are looking for realness, right? And what is real, what is authentic, and then there's a lot of people that are blurring those lines because there's so many different ways we can explore what is real and how we want to present ourselves. So the challenging times lie ahead, because on this new frontier that we're navigating, where is the copyright law within all of this? Because our likeness, even we're going to be navigating something new with Netflix purchasing the Ready Player Me avatar that, you got to select this whole combination that has created, this right here. And this is based on an interpretation. So now this has been captured, documented, and somebody else can choose to then own this. So we are going through a very, very interesting time and navigating what is right, what is not right. And here in the metaverse, right? And, this window opened to capture this live, not doing a bunch of like small little edits, really having debates on powerful conversations that are really going to shape where we're going and what we are doing and what is possible. Because look at here, being here in the metaverse with another packed audience here, the spirit world is strong here in the metaverse. The way we continue to navigate and pull this through to then bring it there to you. So welcome. And I hope you've enjoyed this discussion, because it's several different opinions could be based on what you have just watched and which one is right.
So let us know, and be sure to join us again next week as we bring you more news from the world out there.
Information.
And in the UK, it has already been made illegal to upload these images of people, if they're non-consensual, on any platform, as if the person had downloaded and uploaded pornographic images, which is also illegal. No difference.
So do
it's
you?
now illegal to do it.
I have a closing. Yes, I have a closing question for you, though, as well. Do you think of what this discussion that has taken place would be banned in the UK of what we just talked about?
I can't see any images of naked people or pornographic images, so we're not banning
but
words.
We're talking. We're not. Okay.
Words.
Okay,
we do have freedom of speech. Everyone gives their opinion.
There you go.
Anywhere you like. No problem whatsoever.
So it's like reading So it's like reading a book. You know, they would like that fantasy novel. All of these words, we've painted pictures that you will need to use your imagination. But I was curious, you know, because it's interesting of where people will be able to watch this kind of information. So thank you.
Thank you, and have a wonderful day, everyone. Enjoy.
I do, in a sidebar, I mean, it would have been appropriate for you to wear clothes with today's episode, but that's a topic.
Okay, we'll leave the viewers with that. Have a wonderful day. Cheers from the Virtual Film Company. Bye-bye.